Coach, talk about where your team is right now.
Well, I mean, we're in great position. We're at 10-2, and one game behind league leader Stephen F. Austin, with a 1-game lead over Oral Roberts and a 2-game lead over Southeastern Louisiana, who we happen to play on Thursday night. Southeastern is a very formidable opponent. They're very talented with Brandon Fortenberry and Roosevelt Johnson. They do a fabulous job. We had a great deal of success against them in the last match, but Roosevelt Johnson got in foul trouble early in the game, and we were able to just do we had a phenomenal game. And you really kind of have to take that out without Johnson in the game, and the fact that we just had a great game coming off a very poor performance against Nichols.
Okay, you are with a bunch of guys 18 to 22 years old, generally speaking. How do you tell them forget what happened earlier against this team and get ready? How do you get that message across?
It's difficult because history repeats itself. A year ago we played Southeastern here. We held them to 38 points. We go down to Southeastern and lose to them. So at least we have that within recent memory of a mistake that was made. I think that we've just got to really push very hard to make them understand that we're all playing for the same thing. Southeastern's 2 games behind us. If we don't take care of our business, they could be in our position real quick instead of us being knocking on the door for first place.
This is probably as challenging a week on the road as you'll have all year long from a standpoint of your playing a Southeastern team that's playing extremely well. You're playing a Nichols team that beat you in Prather.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, and they're both teams that coaches Jim Yarborough and J.P. Piper do a fabulous job. They play within their systems, and their systems sometimes give us a difficult time. We're very hopeful that we will execute our game plan and do the things that we think are necessary for us to be successful and be able to get up and down the floor and to score some buckets.
Your team in this past week has stolen the ball at a phenomenal rate, 39 steals in the last 2 games. How's that happening?
I just think it has a lot to do with the fact that we've really done a great job of being up and passing lanes. I think our energy has been remarkable. I've been very frustrated with the fact that we've had so many turnovers, but as I told our kids today, they could be absolved of some of the turnovers because part of it was they were playing so hard and they've not really practiced at that speed, because it's very difficult to replicate the speed in practice to a game. And so we're very fortunate to be able to play as hard as we are, but at the same time we've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. But it's kind of a double-edged sword because you don't want to cut down the good, hard effort to slow down and not turn over the ball, which, we've been turning it over, I think, 12 or 13 times a game, and to end up with 7 more. An example of that would be in the game the other day against Central Arkansas. After the first media timeout, we had 0 turnovers, 3 steals. At the end of the second media timeout, we had turned it over 8 times. And those turnovers were just really unforced turnovers. People not taking care of the ball, coming up behind them, or just passing the ball to someone that wasn't standing there. Now, we love to make people do that, but we don't enjoy seeing people do that to us.
Now, on the other hand, while you've been turning it over a little bit more in the last few games, you've also certainly handed out more assists than are ordinary. You're already ranked very highly in NCAA statistics and assists, and over the last 4 games, 2 at home but 2 on the road, you've stacked up a ton of assists as well.
It's amazing how well this team shares the ball, and if you go back to the last 2 games, and just looking at the UCA game, there was a couple possessions when I saw the ball completely reverse back from one side to the other before we got a shot, or somebody cut into the bucket and was able to get the ball. On other plays this year, I've seen them where we've made 3 passes and we'll be laying it in on the other end again in our cycles break. So we're doing a nice job of moving the ball around, and need to continue to be unselfish because happy teams, unselfish teams, and teams that play hard have a chance to be very successful.
All right, your team plays 5 straight on the road. What's your message to your guys as Prather Coliseum becomes a memory?
Well, it's a great opportunity to go somewhere else where the road has not been, we've been okay on the road. I believe we're 5-5 this year on the road. I think that it's just an opportunity. It's an opportunity to go take care of our business against 2 well-coached teams that have somewhat different styles, not totally the same style, but the one is a very set-oriented team, and the other one is very, they have a pattern that they run, and they're very good at it. So we've just got to be able to lock in on each individual game and do the things that are necessary for us to be successful, but it is an opportunity.
We're with Coach Brooks Stohr here this morning as the Lady Demons are on a 2-game winning streak and doing a lot of good things, mostly winning close games. What's the secret to your team winning all these close games?
Well, I think they just have kind of a sense of calm about them. We really try to reassure them in the huddle. This is what we're looking to do. It's not like we call a lot of sets. We don't run a lot of set-oriented offense. We have some actions that we do within our motion, and I think that really helps our players that, we can say this is what we're looking for out of this, and they can get to it pretty quickly. So they've just had a knack for really bouncing back, and we really try to focus in on the current possession, whether it be on offense or defense, as opposed to looking back or looking ahead, and just kind of trying to play within the moment, and they've done a really nice job of that.
Your team has beaten 2 of the better basketball teams in the conference this past week. What does that do for the psyche of the Lady Demons?
Well, I think it's huge just from a confidence standpoint. Now we've got to translate that, taking it on the road and trying to get a W on the road. And I think in any league, road wins are hard to come by, but especially from a young team. I think that's the next part of this growth and maturation process, is being able to take a team on the road and get a W.
You're playing a Southeastern team Thursday that, if you just play things out down the remaining conference schedule, could be a team that is competing with you for the last tournament slot. So this is a big opportunity and a big challenge because Southeastern has improved since you played them last. Talk about the game.
They have. Southeastern's a very athletic team. They do a lot of different things defensively, give you a lot of different looks, and we've got to value the basketball, be able to recognize their changing defenses and be able to attack those accordingly. It's got to be a game where we play our tempo. Pretty much every game we have to play our tempo. We can't run up and down with people, and if you allow them to get in the open court and really kind of play their transition game, then it'd be a long night for us. We've really got to try to do a great job of limiting their transition looks and making them execute in the half court.
Lady Demons shot 52% in the second half on Saturday, shot 62% for the game on Thursday. Is that a sign of good things to come?
We hope so. I think a lot of it goes back to our players are putting in some extra time, getting up extra shots, and it's February, and they know that this is separation month, and you've got to be able to knock down big shots. And I think the other part of that is they know what we're looking for within our offense, and they're taking better shots. We look for layups, free throws, and open jumpers in that order, and I really felt like we did a nice job of that this week. Hopefully we can continue to do that and continue to shoot a high percentage.
All right. You've got 4 straight games on the road in conference play. Is there any particular message that you bring to your team as we leave the friendly confines of Prather Coliseum?
Yeah, we'll definitely hate to leave Prather for a few games, but I think the main thing is focus on the task at hand. Let's get better today. If we control what we can control, then we're going to be okay. It's not about looking ahead and knowing that we're going to be on the road for 2 weeks or 4 straight games. It's about preparing for Southeastern, doing what we have to do to make the appropriate plays on both ends of the floor to get a W.
So there's no thought given to rearranging seating on the bus or hotel room assignments or anything like that?
Well, no, I think we're okay with that. We may look at doing a few things, but I think at this point, you go and prepare and you get ready to play, and hopefully that all that stuff is in the player's head and not actually a factor in how we do.